So just imagine you're sitting across a table from someone, maybe at a dinner party or some networking event,
Right.
and the conversation is flowing fine. You're trading the usual facts, like where you work, where you grew up, the standard data exchange.
Yeah, the basic small talk.
Exactly. But then there's this pause. They look right at you and they ask, what makes you happy?
Oh, man. And immediately your entire nervous system just goes into a state of shock.
Yes. It is a complete neurological freeze. Your heart rate spikes. Your mind goes entirely blank.
You forget everything about yourself.
Right. You feel this sudden, crushing weight. You feel like you've just been handed a pop quiz on the meaning of your own existence.
Yeah, and you're expected to deliver this profound, life-altering philosophy right there over the appetizers.
It's so true. And, welcome to the English Boost podcast. We take a stack of fascinating sources, research, and conversations, and extract the insights you need to understand the world a little better.
And our mission today is to really explore the mechanics of that exact panic you just described.
Because it's crazy. We can rattle off our professional credentials or, our dietary restrictions without a second thought. But that one specific question about happiness triggers a very real existential panic.
It really does. We're looking at some source conversations today that tackle this deceptively simple question, and they reveal why our working definition of happiness is, well, it's completely backwards.
Yeah, totally backwards.
Mhm.
The sources start with this brilliant, highly relatable anecdote. One of the speakers talks about realizing they were experiencing a moment of just absolute peak happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because they had just closed a massive business deal or won the lottery or anything like that.
Right. They were perfectly happy because they were holding a hot cup of tea, the weather outside was nice, a favorite song happened to be playing.
And crucially, they had successfully avoided being dragged into a pointless meeting.
Which is the dream, right? It's just a beautifully ordinary scene, and it
Yeah.
perfectly sets up the core tension of our entire exploration today.
Which is what exactly?
Well, it's the disconnect between the spectacular fireworks we think we're supposed to chase and the quiet, steady warmth that our brains and bodies are actually craving.
Okay, let's unpack this right away.
Yeah.
Because I have to push back a little on the idea that a cup of tea and a canceled meeting is the ultimate answer to human longing.
Fair enough.
I mean, if it were that simple, none of us would panic when asked what makes us happy. We panic because we are treating happiness like a shiny, overhyped movie trailer.
A movie trailer. Okay, say more about that.
Well, think about how we build our lives, right? We want our achievements to look cinematic from the outside.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, we curate this trailer of our lives. The
Mhm.
promotion, the perfect relationship, the ideal home. And we expect that once we achieve that cinematic visual, it's going to magically reach inside us and fix everything else that feels messy or broken.
That is a fantastic analogy, and it points directly to the root of the panic. We freeze at the dinner party question because we're forcing one single word to do an impossible amount of heavy lifting.
The word happy.
Exactly. The word happy is fundamentally overloaded. One of the concepts from the research is that it's a suitcase word.
A suitcase word, meaning we're packing way too many different things into it.
Precisely. We throw all of our complex psychological needs into that one single piece of luggage.
Right.
So a person might say, I just want to be happy. But if you actually unzip and unpack that suitcase, what they really mean might be, I want to feel physically and financially safe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or I want to feel like I belong to a community. Or honestly, very often it's just I want the relentless, anxious noise inside my mind to finally quiet down for a few hours.
So when someone asks what makes you happy over appetizers, you're subconsciously trying to summarize your need for safety, belonging, and peace into one neat little sentence.
Exactly. Of course, the brain short circuits. It's an impossible task.
And because we don't have the precision to separate those needs, we fall into one of the most dangerous psychological traps outlined in our sources. The whole I'll be happy when mindset.
Oh, the arrival fallacy.
Yes. The arrival fallacy, I'll be happy when I finally get that promotion.
Or I'll be happy when I lose the weight, or when I move to a better city.
Right. We look at these shiny external goals, status, money, external validation, and we load them with an absolutely crushing amount of hope.
We unfairly expect one single career milestone to, reach back in time and heal our deep-seated insecurities, or to completely erase our chronic loneliness.
We're basically asking a job title to be a magic wand.
We are.
And it is so unfair to the achievement itself. Getting a promotion is a great thing. It gives you more money, maybe more influence.
Sure.
But it's just a job change. It doesn't rewire your internal emotional landscape.
Right.
When we expect it to, we're guaranteeing our own disappointment.
That is the exact mechanism at play. Because the brain actually registers the anticipation of the goal, like the dopamine of chasing the promotion as a high.
Right, the thrill of the chase.
But once you achieve it, the brain immediately recalculates. Your new salary just becomes your new baseline. The thrill fades, and you're left wondering why you still feel empty. You ask the achievement to do something it was never designed to do.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. If the word happy is too broad, and our brains keep tricking us with this arrival fallacy, the sources suggest we desperately need a better vocabulary for well-being.
We absolutely do.
And to start, they dismantle this classic idiom of being on cloud nine.
Which is such a deeply ingrained cultural concept, isn't it? We are entirely conditioned to believe that peak emotional intensity equals peak happiness.
Right. And I'll admit, my initial instinct is that floating on cloud nine sounds amazing. Isn't that the ultimate goal?
It seems like it should be.
Yeah, feeling that extreme, floating, euphoric excitement where nothing can touch you.
It's a completely natural assumption, but let's apply some logic to the metaphor. Being on cloud nine is a massive spike in your neurochemistry.
Okay.
It lifts your energy and your spirit. But think about the literal logistics of a cloud. It's made of vapor. There is absolutely no solid ground beneath you.
You can't build a house on vapor.
Exactly. It's a fantastic place to visit for a weekend, but it is a terrible, permanent address.
Right.
Biologically, your nervous system just cannot sustain a perpetual state of euphoria. It's exhausting.
So if you always expect happiness to leave you floating and breathless, you're going to constantly feel like you're failing at life.
And you will completely miss the quieter, grounded states that actually have the staying power to sustain you.
So we need to separate the sudden sparks from the steady fire.
Yes, beautifully put.
I love how the source material breaks this down by forcing us to look at the difference between two concepts we usually treat as synonyms, pleasure and fulfillment.
It is a crucial distinction, and confusing the two is where so many of us get completely lost.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, pleasure is the hot tea, it's the beautiful weather, the perfectly timed song.
It's the sugar rush.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like nutrition. Pleasure is the simple carbohydrate. It's a candy bar. It tastes incredible in the moment. It gives you a rapid spike of energy, and we absolutely need those sparks to enjoy life. I mean, I love candy bars.
We all do. But you cannot survive on candy bars alone.
No.
Pleasure is inherently about consumption. It's about taking something in from the outside to stimulate the senses. But because it's just stimulation, you can consume a massive amount of pleasure and still feel strangely underfed inside, emotionally malnourished.
That concept of being emotionally underfed is so striking. I think we've all experienced it.
Oh, definitely.
You could be at a gorgeous resort, eating an incredible meal, laughing with acquaintances, basically having all the pleasure money can buy, and still go back to your room feeling completely hollow.
Because pleasure doesn't require anything of your soul. Fulfillment, on the other hand, is what provides that deep, lasting satisfaction.
Right.
And unlike pleasure, which is about consumption, fulfillment is usually about contribution.
It comes from meaning, from usefulness.
Yes, it comes from feeling that your time and your energy belong to something that actually matters.
Like raising a family or dedicating yourself to a craft.
Or quietly helping a neighbor. It's the complex carbohydrate in your analogy. It digests slowly, and it provides sustained energy for the long haul.
Which naturally leads us to another vital word the sources emphasize.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think this is the actual state most of us are exhausted from searching for without even realizing it. Serenity.
Serenity is the perfect, grounded antidote to the cloud nine illusion. It is not about intensity at all. It's a deep internal quietness.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
When you say internal quietness, a part of my brain here is giving up. It sounds a little boring, like you're just sitting in a beige room doing nothing.
That is the most common misconception, and it is entirely a product of our overstimulated culture.
Yeah.
We confuse peace with emptiness.
Oh, wow.
We think if we aren't highly stimulated, we must be bored. But true serenity is not the absence of activity. It is the absence of internal friction.
The absence of internal friction, that is a game changer.
Think about it physiologically. Serenity is the moment your nervous system finally downshifts out of that constant fight or flight mode.
Right.
It's a peaceful state where your life simply no longer feels the need to shout to get your attention. It isn't an empty life. It's an incredibly full, engaged life, just not a loud one.
It's the feeling of finally exhaling in a body that used to feel incredibly tight.
Exactly.
Exhaling in a body that used to feel tight. I want to frame that. So If we are completely shifting our paradigm, moving our goal away from trying to live permanently on cloud nine and instead aiming for this steady serenity and fulfillment, where do we practically find it?
Well, this is where the sources make a hard pivot
Yeah, they move entirely away from our resumes and our achievements.
and point straight at our connections with other people.
Right.
What's fascinating here is the incredibly sharp contrast drawn in the text between success and connection.
Success versus connection.
Right. Success, meaning your status, your wealth, your perfectly curated public image, those things might impress people, but relationships hold people.
Impress versus hold. Let's dig into the mechanics of that, because that is a profound difference. What does it actually mean to be held by a connection?
Psychologically, to be held means to be co-regulated.
Co-regulated.
It means you can be entirely yourself without the cognitive load of performing. You can have a completely booked calendar. You can have the corner office, the massive social media following, and still be profoundly, achingly lonely if you aren't being held by a genuine connection.
Because no one knows the real unedited version of you.
Exactly.
The sources use a very specific word to describe these genuine connections. They call them nourishing.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually reserve that word for physical things, like a nourishing meal after a long hike. Applying it to an emotional dynamic is really fascinating,
It really is.
because a nourishing relationship doesn't just mean the person is fun to be around. Fun is just pleasure. Fun is the candy bar.
Right. A nourishing connection actually restores your emotional tissue.
It gives your heart room to breathe. When you're with someone who is truly nourishing, you don't have to constantly scan their face to see if you're saying the right thing.
You don't have to manage their perception of you.
Exactly. And that lack of performance is incredibly restful.
And what's vital to understand is how these nourishing connections are actually built.
Right, how do we get them?
Well, they're almost never built on grand, expensive vacations or huge, dramatic gestures. They are constructed out of incredibly small, easily missed ordinary moments.
The sources list a few of these moments, and they honestly read like poetry.
They do.
Like an open window in the evening when the temperature drops, the very first sip of a warm drink, an unexpected joke shared across a room, or just the profound relief of someone looking at you and saying, I know exactly what you mean.
From the outside, those moments look microscopic. If you tried to put them on a resume of your life, they would look like nothing.
Completely insignificant.
But emotionally, biologically, they carry the weight of the entire day. They are the moments that interrupt the brain's default mode network.
Which is that endless loop of rumination and anxiety.
Yes, they pull you safely back into the present reality.
The sources tackle a classic idiom here too, the old stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like something printed on a cheap greeting card. It's become a total cliche. But when you look at the psychology behind it, it is incredibly sharp advice.
It's not just about liking flowers.
No, it's
Yeah.
about sensory grounding.
Exactly. It's about directing your attention intentionally. Life is incredibly noisy, and we're conditioned to constantly rush past the small, quiet things to get to the next big fireworks display.
Yeah.
The act of noticing the small things is what actually has the power to soften us.
And it doesn't ask for your money. It doesn't ask for your status. It only asks for your attention, which connects perfectly to another concept they explore. What it means to watch someone truly light up.
Oh, this is pure neurobiology in action.
Explain that.
When someone lights up, their whole physical energy shifts. Think of how someone's voice changes, how their posture changes, when they start talking about a subject they are deeply, genuinely passionate about.
It is the absolute best thing to witness. You ask a friend about their weird, incredibly niche hobby like restoring vintage clocks or urban gardening, and suddenly they are just glowing.
Yeah.
You can hear the life vibrating in their voice, and that shared resonance, that shared attention is a form of deep, homemade happiness. It's fulfillment unfolding in real time.
It is. But this raises a rather uncomfortable question. Well, if these nourishing small moments are woven into the fabric of our daily lives, and they're completely free, and they provide the exact serenity we crave,
Yeah.
why do we lose sight of them so easily? Why is it so unbelievably hard for the human brain to just be happy with the open window and the cup of tea?
So what does this all mean? What is sabotaging us? To understand that, we really have to look at the psychological enemies of this mindset.
We do.
The source introduces a foundational concept here: contentment. It defines contentment as this quiet, grounded feeling of enoughness. It isn't saying your life is flawless.
Right.
It's just a solid bodily feeling of, this is good for now, I have enough.
But the human brain, from an evolutionary standpoint, is terrified of enoughness. It's wired to constantly scan for threats and look for more resources.
And that leads to the rude guest that constantly crashes the party and ruins our contentment.
Comparison.
The absolute thief of joy, comparison.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources explain the mechanics of comparison through another famous idiom: the grass is always greener on the other side.
Oh, right.
We look at a colleague's career or a friend's marriage, and it looks utterly perfect.
Yeah.
But there is a brilliant psychological truth here. Distance makes things look smooth.
Distance makes things look smooth. Let's really drill down into that because it is an optical illusion that ruins lives. I like to think of it like high-resolution versus low-resolution imagery.
Oh,
Well, you experience your own life in ultra-high resolution. Like you see every single pixel. You see the dirty dishes in the sink. You feel the tension in your shoulders. You know about the awkward argument you had this morning.
Yeah.
You see every flaw and every mistake.
Right.
But you experience everyone else's life in low resolution. You only see the broad strokes, the edited photos, the smiling avatar.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. You are comparing your messy, highly textured, high-resolution reality to someone else's low-resolution highlight reel.
Exactly.
And because of that optical illusion of distance, the grass over there looks like a perfect, seamless putting green, while your yard just looks like dirt and weeds.
And what happens when you hold your reality up against that illusion? Your own life naturally begins to feel small, inadequate, and disappointing.
It inevitably does.
But here's the tragedy. Absolutely nothing in your physical life actually changed. The tea in your cup is still warm. The window is still open. Your friends still love you. But because you placed your life under the harsh, artificial light of comparison, you instantly lose your contentment.
Which means that protecting your attention is not just a nice mindfulness trick. It is literally a form of preserving your happiness. If you constantly keep your eyes locked on someone else's garden, you physically cannot feel the peace in your own. You abandon your own life.
So how do we fight back? How do we protect our attention from that evolutionary urge to compare?
Well, the sources point to a practice that I think gets horribly misunderstood.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. It has definitely suffered a branding problem lately.
Oh, it really has.
Yeah.
It has been hijacked by the wellness industry to the point where it often feels like toxic positivity.
It really does.
It feels like someone telling you, oh, you lost your job and your car broke down. Well, be grateful you have warm hands.
Right.
It can feel so dismissive, so invalidating of actual legitimate pain.
And the source material completely agrees with your frustration. Real gratitude is absolutely not about forcing a smile or pretending that everything is perfect. It is not a demand that you ignore your grief, your stress, or your pain.
Then what is the actual mechanism of gratitude if it isn't just forced optimism?
True gratitude requires immense psychological flexibility. It's the ability to hold two entirely conflicting truths in your mind at the exact same time without forcing one to cancel the other out.
Hold two truths at once.
Right. It's the cognitive dissonance of acknowledging that, yes, life is incredibly hard right now, you're stressed about money, and the sky feels unbearably heavy. But simultaneously, in the exact same moment, you can notice that the cup of tea in your hands is still lovely.
Holding the dialectic.
Ah.
The heavy sky and the lovely tea.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose between them. You don't have to deny the dark clouds to appreciate the warmth in your hands.
Exactly. It's learning how to actively notice what is tender and good without demanding that your life become entirely flawless first. That ability to hold both truths is arguably one of the deepest, most challenging skills of adulthood.
Because our instinct is always conditional. We say, I cannot possibly enjoy this tea until all my emails are answered, my career is secure, and my house is perfectly clean.
We constantly move the goalposts.
But real gratitude says, the emails are a disaster, the house is a mess, but I am going to fully taste this tea anyway.
That is the very essence of what the sources call a homemade life. Real happiness isn't a prize you win at the end of an exhausting race.
Nah.
It isn't a dramatic, expensive fireworks display that you purchase to prove your worth to the world. It's constructed in small, daily, deeply human ways.
It's found in what you choose to notice. It's found in what you fiercely protect from the illusion of comparison.
Yes.
It's found in the quiet routines you repeat and the people you stay close to, the ones who hold you without asking you to perform. Less fireworks, more warmth.
That is a perfect synthesis of our exploration today. We have to stop asking the word happy to do the work of safety, connection, and serenity, and start actually cultivating those things directly.
And as we wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on. Drawing on one last psychological insight from the material.
Oh, I love this part.
We've talked about pleasure, fulfillment, and serenity. But there was one more neurobiological player: anticipation.
The dopamine of seeking.
Exactly. The text mentions the power of the phrase looking forward to. Neurologically, real, lasting happiness often lives in the gentle, steady anticipation of a moment rather than the chaotic peak of the moment itself.
Right.
It's the joy of looking forward to a quiet Sunday morning with absolutely no plans. So I want you to ask yourself, what mundane, entirely unglamorous part of your daily routine might actually be the exact happiness you've been chasing all along? What is the small, quiet thing you are already looking forward to tomorrow?
It completely shifts your perspective. It forces you to look for the warmth that is already burning in your life right now.
It changes everything. Thank you so much for joining us on the English Boost podcast. We hope our conversation today gave your nervous system a chance to downshift and gave your heart a little room to breathe. Take care of yourselves, fiercely protect your contentment, and keep exploring. Until next time.